welcome to the grid. You're just thinking about winning a race.
It's going to be two Mercedes going wheel to wheel into turn one.
Brilliant wheel-to-wheel action, definitely game on.
Your finest moment in the race.
What a great race we've got in progress. Well, hello and welcome to the second test. Hello and welcome to the second test. This is the McLaren hospitality unit. Foggy, come in. Look who's standing around, not driving. Stoffel van Dorn. It's been a really frustrating day, and we're only kind of 3/4 of the way through it for McLaren and for Honda, and especially for Stoffel van Dorn, who, guess what, was been sidelined by a power unit problem. Yep, it's the second test, everybody. It might not be Ted's notebook, but it's the same old issues that are affecting McLaren. Power unit problems. They've had to change the engine. They're on to their second one of the day. They still haven't quite got it installed yet, and I make that 7 that they've used in testing so far. We need to have a chat with Eric Boulier, really, because a lot of you have been tweeting in with your questions for the McLaren boss. Basically, I mean, look, Foggy, look up in the sky there. It's beautiful. It is an absolutely gorgeous day, not a cloud in the sky, but it seems for this team not much of a silver lining at the moment either. We're going to have a chat to Manisha Kaltenborn in a few moments' time as well, and we're going to round up all the day's events, and you can always tweet us, #AskCrofty, with anything you want to know about testing and about the season to come, and we'll try and get all the questions answered. But here's Eric, and let's see if he's smiling. Are you smiling? Can you smile?
Yes, I can.
But probably not when you think about Formula 1.
Oh no. I mean, I enjoy my job, obviously, and I feel privileged to be doing my job, living from my passion, and especially in a team like McLaren.
Team like McLaren, who need to catch a break at the moment, but it's not happening. Here we are again, Eric. Another day, another engine problem.
Yes, it's a fact. I can't deny. So. Yeah, we obviously have had already a few meetings with Honda because we don't want to have a repeat from 2015 or even 2016, which is look so far we have. We want to be competitive. This is where we have to be, and we can't afford to be another year not being competitive and definitely, or at least affected by reliability issues.
Are you saying this is as bad as 2015? Because that was pretty horrible.
That was pretty terrible. Today I feel maybe like this, but it's not. It's not that bad.
We've got loads and loads of questions from a lot of McLaren fans. Let's start off with this one. Chris Chucks _27. Don't forget the underscore, it's important. What's your plan moving forward with Honda and McLaren?
Well,
that's an engine in the background we can hear. At least it's fired up.
Alive. Well, the plan about to keep changing the engine?
To keep changing the engine. You can't do that every race. You've got to start at the back of the grid all the time.
I know, but you have to be, there is no excuse. We are where we are because we have what we have. Once again, Honda started this project 4 years ago, starting from scratch. And I think that was a bit ambitious, to turn up 2 years after the track, being under the media radar. And the technology is so immature that every year everybody improves. So to catch up is very complicated. We just have to be working hard and obviously make sure we can deliver the best support for Honda as possible. Definitely not making their life difficult, even if ours is not easy. And we need to obviously their capacity. And I guess we are the best people to answer this, but their capacity are huge, their facilities are huge. It's just a question of, everything in order. Maybe we miss a little bit of F1 culture in the Honda system, but we have to work on this and make sure, they can deliver, and they will.
Sounds like, and we'll have a little walk come and walk into the sunshine, because we're in the shadows here.
Why, the engine is too noisy.
Yeah, the engine is too noisy. I've been saying this for years, way too noisy for me and for you and for microphones. You're moving forward with Honda. Motorsport Chat, one of many that tweeted us to say, would you ever think about building your own engines? You know, you've got a good road car plan and you build engines for that, so why wouldn't you do it for Formula 1 as well?
First of all, I think it's a very complicated technology, and the amount of investment would be huge in terms of money, but not only in terms of time. I think you need to be partnered by an engine manufacturer or a car manufacturer, let's say, who can afford not only against the money but the resources and the know-how to build this kind of engine.
Okay, right.
And frankly, strategically speaking, this technology, I'm not sure is suiting the McLaren road car strategy, at least for the short-term future.
Andrew Tyerman, very briefly, we'll rattle through this. Could you change engine manufacturers before the season starts? Too late for that, surely.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, it's a wish first. Technically, it's impossible. Yeah.
Okay. Will this be Fernando's final season, says Aidan Deloe, and a lot of other people say that.
I don't know. You need to ask Alonso.
Okay. What about Jensen taking over if he does run out of patience?
Jensen has a contract. He's a third driver of McLaren, so he technically could.
Has he run out of patience yet?
No.
Do you think, knowing Fernando as well as you do, that he might run out of patience?
Yes, but that doesn't mean he's going to step out. He's a competitor. I mean, a lot of people, obviously since day one, since he rejoined McLaren, was obviously predicting a lot of problems. There was not, so he's still there, still here, yes. If you're running out of patience, yes, of course, like me, but we have to be professional and we have to address everything to make sure we do it properly.
If you're running out of patience, could you realistically say to Honda, that's it, scrap it, go and look elsewhere? Maybe Renault, maybe Mercedes. Is that a possibility?
No, it's not. No possibility like this. You don't build a relationship like this, and you can't change because there is a few glitches. It's true that when I say we are running out of patience, it's like the fans. You can see the questions. It's the same for my sponsors. Same for anybody working in McLaren. We are all running out of patience. We would like to have the best PU and be able to make the best chassis and go and fight the big boys. That's where we belong, and that's where we'll be back. But there is a process to go through, and you can't declare a war like this, and change everything just on one call.
Absolutely. Two final questions. First and foremost, from me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad has pre-season testing been? 1 being really bad and 10 being very good.
5 out of 5.
5, so kind of halfway through.
Yeah.
All right. And this isn't from me, it's from Brian Dooley. Can you beat Sauber this season?
Yes, Brian, I think we can.
Okay. And with that, we're going to head down to Sauber while you have to go and face the media. Is this the worst part of your job, actually having to answer questions like this all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, at least you're doing it with a smile on your face. Eric, go face the media. Thanks ever so much. We'll talk to Eric at the end of the week, because I think it would be nice to see if that 5 could become a 6 or maybe a 7, and hopefully not a 4 or a 3. Maybe. You see, got to have the selfie as well, because the fans are allowed into the paddock for testing. What a really novel idea that is, letting the fans come into the paddock. We're going to move down this way and see what Manisha thinks about Eric saying that they can beat Sauber this year. She might probably say, yeah, well, so they should with all their resources. But how are things going at Sauber? Come with us. We're going that way. See, I told you we were going to speak to Manisha, and here she is. Hello.
Hello.
How was your winter?
So far, so good. Now we'll see.
It's not winter today, it's summer today. This is gorgeous.
It's wonderful. I believe in Switzerland it's supposed to be snowing, so we're having a bit of winter still this year, but this is wonderful.
It's a good job we're not in Switzerland. It's a good job the sun's come out, and it's a good job you've got Pascal Wehrlein back in the car.
Absolutely. It was quite a shock when we found out in January that he had this accident, and of course we just had to be very patient, wait and see how things go. And it's great that the doctors, allowed him to start with testing, and now we keep our fingers crossed that all goes well till the first race.
Yeah, see, I was there in Miami when he had the accident, and we were all a little bit worried, I must admit. Then he got out of the car, and it's fine, Pascal's fine. This man is superhuman, he's unbreakable. And then he had to go to hospital. Did something break?
No, it was just this kind of compression he had on the back. So we just have to be careful, with these kind of incidents, particularly knowing the kind of forces now the back is particularly, exposed to. So you really have to be careful, but all went well. He was good. over these weeks. He didn't do things he shouldn't be doing, and it's paid off now.
Yeah, like getting into three-wheel cars and going racing.
No, that definitely we didn't allow here. This was before our time, and I clearly told him this is what happens if you drive cars with 3 wheels.
Yes, exactly. Don't do that again and put 4 wheels on the car and it'll be fine for the season. We've got quite a few questions actually for you. I love our viewers. We say Manisha's coming on the show and we get bombarded with questions. So here they are on the phone. I'm going to take my sunglasses off because it just looks really rude having sunglasses on, to be honest. You should tell your drivers that as well when they're being interviewed. Take your sunglasses off.
And phones away.
Well, I can't take the phone away, otherwise I have to remember things, and you know what my memory's like. You know your new livery. I love your new livery. I think it looks fantastic to celebrate 25 years. Warren says, did you think of the 1996 Ligier when you were designing the livery?
No, we didn't. No, really not. You know,
You can't even picture that in your mind now, can you?
No, we actually just wanted something a little bit different. Blue stayed pretty much the same. It's just a bit of a refined finish to it. And then we thought instead of yellow, we take maybe gold because it matches with the 25 years. So this is how it came about.
You see, I love it. There's only one thing wrong with it, you know that?
There's a bit of white still on the car.
Yeah, it needs filling with a few names on it, doesn't
but
it?
there's a reason for that. You know, we could have all done it blue, but no, we are in discussions and we are confident that we will manage to sort that out.
Yes.
Let's see when, but we're on to it.
Because a lot of people are saying, and I'm generalising here because we've had dozens and dozens of tweets, have you got enough money for the season? I mean, you probably never got enough money, but have you got enough to be competitive?
Well, like you said, I think no team ever has enough money. We didn't even have that when we were manufacturer or predominantly manufacturer owned. We do, and we are there, and we are stable, and we'll do all we can to get back into the midfield where we belong. I mean, you know, you have to keep in mind, talking about the 25 years, there are 2 years where we really didn't do that well, you know, and the other in between was so-ish, and that has its reasons, the way the team was brought back. It's no excuse, you know, we can do better, we know that, we have the tools, and we have stability now with the new ownership, so yes, we're back.
Actually, that brings us on to Jimmy Archer. He says, will the new F1 ownership and structure help smaller teams like yourselves to become more competitive, better profit sharing? Are you kind of pinning your hopes on Liberty Media a bit?
Yes, we are, and I think the talks we've had are very promising and encouraging from that perspective. Of course, we still have to see what's really going to be done, but what you hear when you speak to Sean Bradges or to Chase Carey, that they are keen in making the show better, to make the sport stronger, and you have to have strong participants in there. And they do want to support the small teams because they want a level playing field. That's what makes it, at the end of the day, interesting. So yes, we are very optimistic.
Do you get fed up fighting that battle, or actually do you think, well, there's a bit of resolve now because finally someone's listening?
No, I'm not getting fed up doing that, because first of all, we have to achieve something there. You know, one thing is if you just hear things and you say things, the other thing is to really make the teams feel it. So I think it will still take some time. It's not going to happen overnight, but it just gives us, you know, fresh energy again to really go for it.
And we've just been talking to Eric Boulier, who doesn't look very happy at the moment, so you can probably understand why with everything that's going on. But he does think that he's going to beat you this year. He does think that McLaren will beat Sauber. So we have to give you the right to reply on that one. What have you got that might be able to beat McLaren?
Well, you know how optimistic he is, isn't he? So let's leave him that optimism for now.
He's on the downside of pessimism, I think, at the moment.
No, you have to leave him his last hope. I mean, we'll see. You know, we haven't been that bad when in years where we've had the opportunity to actually do something, to develop and all. And as I said, we are back. So I don't think it's going to be that easy and straightforward.
You're not the whipping boys of the paddock?
No, not as yet.
Not as yet. Well, we haven't started racing yet. We'll see. Yeah, F1 banter. Who's faster, McLaren or Sauber? You say Sauber.
Well, obviously. What else? Just look at us now.
Well, yeah. Are you out on the track at the moment?
We probably have just come back in again, I think, because when I came out, we were still out on the track. You know. Well, at least our engine works.
Well, that's because it's last year's engine. It should work.
No, not necessarily. In the beginning it didn't, on the first day, if you remember. But no, you know, we don't think that it's that big a disadvantage, and we took this decision a while ago. So we hope that with the aero performance we can show, we can at least catch up a certain bit of it. And then, of course, it's also about smart strategies. That's it.
Yes, Ruth Buscombe. You've got one of the best strategists going, I think, in that one, haven't you?
Well, absolutely. I think she showed some very good moves last year. And we know how good she is. She's proven that. So, of course, it's not going to be easy. You know, you do also need a competitive car to make the most of your strategy. But I think we really learned a lot in the last years and could also show that in the last few races last year.
And just finally, the show this year. I mean, the cars look great, But it wouldn't be Formula 1 without the cars looking great and everyone saying, oh yeah, but you can't follow closely behind, there'll be no overtaking and there'll be no degradation, it's going to be one-stop strategy. No, don't the shark fins look horrible as well? Where do you stand, not just on aesthetics, but on the racing as a whole? Do you think we're going to get really good racing?
Oh, we will. You know, it really, that just always depends on how close the field is together. You know, if it looks good or not is always a question which will be answered differently by everybody in there. So that's nothing we really should focus on that much. More important is no matter how they look and no matter how many stops you have, racing has to be extremely interesting to getting the competition closer together. So that's what I think we should really focus on. Everything else is a secondary issue. And that's why, you know, particularly smaller teams, we are fighting for a certain stability also on the rule side. Because this is how you have a certain roadmap then. You can follow that. You know what you do this year is not going to be forbidden next year, and you've invested a lot of money into it. So if there's this kind of a strategy that this is the way we are going, that allows everyone to come closer together, and that's really what matters in the sport.
Certainly is. Thank you for talking to us today. It's been lovely. We've got to go to a break now. No one ever listens to me, so will you just tell the viewers to join us after the break and we'll run down the whole field and just look stern at the camera and say, don't go anywhere, we'll be back in a minute.
Don't go anywhere, we'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. See, don't listen to me, listen to Manisha. Ah, you didn't let me down. You did return and you did listen to Manisha. Welcome back to the paddock where it's gone a little bit chilly, finished running for the day. The teams are now into their debriefs, and if you're Gunther Steiner, you've got a whole media huddle and a few questions to answer. Not a bad day for Haas, good day they say. 8th quickest, 81 laps, Kevin Magnussen. We'll talk to Romain Grosjean later on in the week and he'll answer your questions on #AskCrofty. We're going to talk to Andrew Green tomorrow, the technical director of Force India as well, and we've got Daniel Ricciardo lined up and also Lance Stroll. So as many questions as you want, get them in and we'll try and answer them. Matthew Jordan will answer your question first tonight. He said, with the wider tyres, will there be more safety car starts in the wet due to more spray? Now, check this out, because that's not a stupid question. Yes, there will be more spray. Yes, there is the possibility of more safety car interventions, and also more possibility that the drivers are actually going to go off the track as well and find it harder to control the cars in the wet. You want to make them easier to control, make the rear tyres narrower. We've made them wider, and therefore there could be a few issues there. On the subject of tyres as well, we had a question about pit stops, the POB. What's the consensus about how long pit stops will take this year with the bigger wheels? They've all been practicing, and at the moment, they're kind of about the same times as last year. I think a few teams have gone sub 2 seconds on this one. Toro Rosso have had over 200 pit stops practicing in the factory, and round about now, this is not the Toro Rosso pit stop practice, that's just an empty trolley having got rid of its tyres. They're actually starting practicing at the track for the first time with the night shift. As for on the track today, Toro Rosso 1 lap last Thursday. Today, they lost an hour just after lunch because of a slight leak, but they had a really, really good day. Lots of laps on the board for the car voted best looking car in Italy by one of the Italian websites. Beat Ferrari in the final, 54% voted for Toro Rosso. Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton damaged the floor. He wasn't overly happy today with what went on. Valtteri Bottas slightly better in the afternoon. I don't think there's any faces on the engineers or the senior mechanics at Mercedes that look too concerned at the moment, but it was just kind of a day for running, testing new parts. No headlines really from Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton will go into his motorhome, which is just down there, and I think he's going to be reunited with Roscoe tonight as well. Won't get any sleep because apparently the dog snores quite a lot. Further down, Red Bull, nothing but smiles at Red Bull today. They were really happy. No race distance, that still hasn't happened. Daniel Ricciardo went off on the Ultra Softs a little bit earlier on, but the race distance should come tomorrow, I'm told, on that one. Ferrari, let's talk about Ferrari. We had a question about Ferrari from Sam Payne. Are they genuinely quick, or are they simply running light again and flattering to deceive? They are genuinely quick. Everyone I've talked to tells me that Ferrari are up there for real. 168 laps for Sebastian Vettel today, joint most. Pace was good again. I did ask Senor Riva Benny for a quote on this one. He just said ciao and walked off. Ferrari aren't really saying much, but Sergio Marchionne says that the car is a definite step up from last year, and both of the drivers are really happy. We'll try and get a bit more from Ferrari as the week goes on. Precautionary engine change for Renault today. Sensors showing a little problem that needed looking into. So Jolyon Palmer only 15 laps. The Hulk did 58, and they're really happy down at Renault as well. Force India ticked all the boxes today, Force India. We'll find out from Andrew Green tomorrow what those boxes were, but they did a race distance. They were concentrating on long runs. Esteban Ocon was providing them with pace and good feedback as well. First time the team have gone over 100 laps in the winter testing. They did 142, so they were really chuffed with that. Williams, wow, what a day for Williams. 168 laps for Felipe Massa, fastest lap of the day, second fastest lap of the test as well, with a 1:19.726. I saw him as he came in to their little awning afterwards. I said, blimey, I thought they'd be carrying you in after 168 laps. And he kind of smiled, said, no, I ache a little bit, but I needed that today. Felt really good out in the car, and I was really chuffed with what it was able to do. They were able to stretch the engine a little bit as well. All the Mercedes runners were today. Had a few problems, the Mercedes engines last week, but there's a bit more power coming through, although still not able to run on maximum power, so I'm told. Sauber, Pascal Wehrlein was back. Good to see him back as well. We heard from Manisha just a little bit earlier, and he felt very, very good in the car itself. Byron D says, why is the fin tail so prominent on the new cars? Well, it's prominent because they go faster, and that's why the shark fin tail is on there. Christian Horner wants them banned and wants to get rid of them because of aesthetics. No news of a team managers meeting on that one yet. No news of a technical director meeting on that one yet. But we'll see how that goes. And I think Christian Horner is scheduled to be at the test tomorrow, and we'll maybe find out a little bit more from him. And we finish where we started, at McLaren. That electrical issue. We heard from Eric Boulier earlier in the show. Well, a few hours have elapsed since we spoke to Eric Boulier. I've done a bit of digging around the paddock. Might not have been an electrical issue at all. There is a rumour that it was actually a major mechanical failure. Again, same failure as happened last week. And Honda still don't know why they had that major issue. I mean, trying to get an answer from Honda at the moment is really, really tricky. I said to them, 7 engines you've used. They went, well, no, that might not be technically true. We might have used a few less because we mixed and matched. I said, well, how many engines have you used? And they said, well, we can't tell you that. I said, well, I'm going to speculate it's 7 then. Well, you can speculate, but that's not the right answer. But then they don't tell you the right answer, which seems a bit of a strange one for me on that. But a major mechanical issue affecting that Honda engine. So once again, back to the drawing board, and those plans that they've got to introduce a Melbourne spec engine some stage this week, well, they seem a little bit, well, far-fetched isn't the right word, is it? But seem a little bit optimistic at the moment because they can't even get this current engine to run properly. In the end, Stoffel van Dorn did actually put 80 laps in, but Eric Boulier was talking about 2015 and saying that, you know, it's as bad as 2015. And that relates to the power and the drivability of the engine as well. So even if they can get the reliability fixed, if it's got the drivability of 2015, well, they're going to be on the back foot, unless they can introduce the new engine, the spec for Melbourne, and it all goes well. We keep our fingers crossed, but at the moment, we are just crossing fingers on that one, sadly. And yeah, that has been today at testing. I'll finish off with this one from Ron. Which of the teams do you think are sandbagging? They all are, Ron. Nobody's showing their full potential yet, because what's the point? We're not in qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. We're not at the race for the Australian Grand Prix. No one's going to show their true pace until we get to the first race. But what we're going to try and do is pick through the bones of all the lap times and all the information we can glean this week and come up with a pecking order by the end of the week. As for tonight, time to go and ask a few more questions on your behalf, and we'll be back tomorrow with Andrew Green, the Technical Director of Force India. So if there's a question you want to know about the new regulations, the new cars, or pertaining to the Force India car itself, then tweet us at Sky Sports F1 or at Crofty F1 and mark it #AskCrofty. From us all here in Barcelona, what a gorgeous day it's been. Hope it was for you too. Take care.
Enjoy Sky Sports F1 live on all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.